So I want to share with you today some flexible cues that you can use when you have a student in front of you and they are gliding. And this is, well, I call them flexible cues because this works for gliding of R to W, L to W, and also L to Y as well. So a lot of these cues, you can kind of mix and match the cards to suit what your child is doing and what their needs are. So first of all, I really want to show you just the mouth cue cards. I think these cues are really important. They're really visual and they really highlight the mouth and what the mouth is doing, and the tongues as well. So we've got L here, and as you can see, it's a nice little lifting sound there. And we've got W, we've got our W. So if the child is gliding those, you can really highlight and point out just how the face looks and the mouth and, you know, what it's doing, and just getting into that position or getting ready to say it. And then that contrasts with the R, so you can see how the R and the W look different as well. And with the Y, you can look at those as well. So that's a really nice place to start. Sometimes what you'll find though is that a child is in between sounds, and I'm going to give an example of gliding of R to W. Sometimes you'll know they'll say a word like wing, and wing with the W is correct, but when they go to say it with the R sound, it might be like wing, and it's like, well, it wasn't a W, but it wasn't quite a perfect R. So for that circumstance, I've got these little guides for you. They're little visual continuums here. It's like a little scale. So you can put these two cards together, and you can let the child know that they're trying to make it sound different, and it wasn't quite, you know, it wasn't a W, but it wasn't quite an R, but you know, it kind of sounds like you made this sound here. And you can kind of use your finger and you can move it along this line to give feedback to the child. And that's really powerful because it can be hard for a child to hear that they're wrong. And even though they weren't necessarily gliding, if they've got this approximate or this middle sound, you can let the child know that they're working towards, you know, that target sound there. And the reason why these are flexible is because if the child is gliding to W, you can put that there, or if they're gliding to Y, you can put that there. And again, we've got these really lovely little mouth cues here. They're nice and visual. The last cue that we've included in this deck, it's a great metaphor. And if you have trouble remembering what these mean, I just want you to know that in our insert here, we've got little descriptions of all the cues here, so you can kind of read up on how to teach it. But we kind of explain that there are different sounds, and there's gliding sounds and running sounds. And gliding sounds, it's like w and y, and it's like when you're on the ice, you know, it's nice and smooth, and you can just glide on the ice. W and y, they just glide out of our mouths. So that's how we talk about them. Our running sounds though, they're different, and it depends if you're teaching the L or the R, how you explain running sounds. But when I talk about running sounds, I talk about you have to use lots of different parts of your body to help you run. You've got to lift up your legs, and you've got to, you know, bunch your arms and help you, you know, run and move faster. So if a child was gliding to L, for example, I would say it's our running sound. And just like when you run, you have to lift up your legs, you have to lift up your tongue for L. So that's how I relate it to that. If it was R though, I might say when you run, you know, you've got to bunch up your arms to help you run, like you bunch your tongue for the R sound. That's why it's the running sound. So you can see here that, oops, I dropped that one. You can see here that when you use these metaphors, it helps the child make sense. It helps them categorize what they're doing and what we'd like them to do. And you can cue them like, oh, make sure you use your running sound, you know, make sure you use that running sound, you know, bunch up your arms, you know, or, you know, bunch that tongue up like we bunch up our arms. And that can help the child and cue them and let them know what they have to do to be correct. So those are all available in these gliding minimal pair card decks. I hope you like the different ways that you can teach gliding and just make this pattern that a lot of our kids have difficulties with a little bit more meaningful and relatable to the child, so that they can learn how to eliminate and discriminate this pattern.